You don't need me to tell you what car you are looking at. Of course, this is the Jaguar F-Type. It's become a modern styling icon. It's an amazing looking car and it's about to go out with a bang. That's right, we're coming to the end of the line for the Jaguar F-Type, and it's crazy to think that a vehicle like this arrives with as much fanfare as it did. We're all anticipating it for years before its release, and then all of a sudden it drives off into the sunset. But how good does it look? Have a look at the styling. In fact, it looks so good, cue the montage. Launching in Australia to much fanfare in late 2013, the Jaguar F-Type was an immediate hit thanks to its eye-catching sense of style. Sharp, beautiful, distinctively a Jaguar from every angle, the F-Type was a potent execution of both style and substance with power to match the looks. The long nose housed a variety of different engine variants, and the F-Type hit the road in Australia with an extensive offering of model grades and drivelines. Coupe and Roadster, V6 and even a 4-cylinder were available, but it was the boisterous V8 that remained the pick of the bunch. It's hard to believe that more than 8 years have passed, and as it bids farewell, 2 models remain: a rear-wheel drive V8 hardtop or convertible, and an all-wheel drive V8 hardtop. It's a fitting send-off. The cabin, as is to be expected of an iconic sports car, is singularly driver-focused. The driving position, the seats, the centre console and the controls are all focused on driver engagement and interaction. There's a sense of occasion every time you fire the F-Type into life. Even the air conditioning vents rise to the occasion from their position inside the top of the dash. Theatre it might be, but it's a touch of class the Jaguar buyer loves. This, especially in V8 guise as we're driving here, is a mighty sports car. It's fast, brutally so on track, but there's so much more to the F-Type experience than raw speed. Panache, style, the soundtrack, the interaction between driver and car, and the reflection you see every time you pass a building window remind you that you're driving a modern-day icon. And of course, we're farewelling that icon by driving our favourite engine, the 5-litre supercharged V8, which in rear-wheel drive as tested here, generates 331 kilowatts and 580 newton meters with an 8-speed automatic. And unlike some other manufacturers' farewell models, the F-Type isn't festooned with stupid body kits and wings, and there isn't a sticker pack to be seen. You know, I've been thinking about this a lot while I've been driving around in the F-Type, and this of course is a farewell. It's a sign-off. We're saying goodbye to what has become an iconic modern sports car. But I wonder if the motoring press of the time felt the same way that I do when they were driving the E-Type just before it went out of production. Were they aware of how significant it was that they were coming to the end of such an iconic vehicle and that it wasn't going to be replaced by anything like it for many, many years later? And I know it's a little bit unfair probably to compare the F-Type to the E-Type because the E-Type has become one of the most iconic cars of all time. But this F-Type, it arrived to a lot of fanfare. It really does tick all of the sports car boxes: front engine, rear wheel drive, lots of power, amazing soundtrack. It feels premium, it looks incredible. And I wonder, with the transition to electric vehicles, will we ever see the like of this vehicle again? We're never going to hear the like of this vehicle again, certainly not legitimately. We might hear fake noises, but we're never going to hear an engine that sounds like this V8 engine again. I do wonder though, will we ever see a vehicle with an electric powertrain that has the style and panache of the Jaguar F-Type? But on that note, you buy this car, and I would argue you buy this car as a convertible for one reason more than any other, and it's to listen to that exhaust note. But what I'll do is get rid of the roof right now so you can have a listen to this. This is what it's all about. How good is it? How good is it? There's no other sound on earth like it. It's amazing. And puts a smile on your face every single time you drive it. And the best part about it is it sounds like that even at regular speed. It's raucous and rowdy even at 60 kilometres an hour. So I can tell you this, anybody who thinks a Jaguar, and especially an F-Type, is a refined, older gentleman's type of ride, well, they clearly haven't driven a car like this, because I can tell you, this thing can be really obnoxious if you open the exhaust and you want to have some fun. And on that note, we always say that V8 engines are among the most iconic engine in the world, if not the most iconic engine. And the one that Jaguar's used in the F-Type is unbelievable. It's obviously extremely powerful. It's matched beautifully to the transmission. When you shift manually, as I'm doing now, it's precise and it's fast and it's a lot of fun. And if you're wondering why Jaguar offered an all-wheel drive version of the F-Type, well, you only need to drive the rear-wheel drive version on a slippery road to find out how squirrely it can get when you're trying to deliver that much power to the rear tyres. But crucial to the sports car experience, especially the convertible sports car experience, this F-Type, it's a barrel of laughs and it's always fun. Looking back on this in a decade or more, I think the purest performance prowess of the F-Type will be seen in the same legendary light as its predecessor, the mighty E-Type. As we move into an electric future, I think it's fair to say, and I know that somewhere down the track, one of you is probably going to pull this quote out and slap me around the face with it, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say an electric vehicle is never going to sound as good as the Jaguar F-Type. And I reckon electric cars, as we know them in 2022, they've got a long way to go before they look as good as the Jaguar F-Type, not just sound as good. It's hard to believe that this is the closing of the curtain on the Jaguar F-Type story. We loved the development of the vehicle, finding out what it was going to look like and sound like as it was coming to fruition. And then, of course, the time that we've spent test driving them both here and overseas in the years since it was released. This, I think, is going to become an iconic car. In fact, let us know what you think in the comments section below. Will this be as iconic as Jaguar's legendary E-Type? Can it live up to that legend that Jaguar set with one of its very first and most significant performance sports cars? In the meantime, if you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit like, click on subscribe so you stay up to date with all of our latest content, and our review, what will be our final review of the last F-Type we will test at Drive, that's over at Drive.com.au.